Hippie Dippy show, you guys. I'm Bo Bowker. Welcome.
And I'm Cassidy Bowker. Hi.
And I'm Jeffrey J.
Yeah, we're doing it. Episode 6,
We're
right?
back.
Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, happy to be here as always. Very grateful. We love doing the show. We love having you guys. This is the Hippie Dippy show where we talk about all the weird stuff that we're into that we think betters our lives. And if we think it does, then it probably does. That's part of the hippy dippiness of it. If you think it, it's real.
Yeah, so be careful what you think, because you can think some real weird shit.
That's a fact. Speaking of both, what do you guys think of my beard?
Yeah, it's.
Mm.
It's weird. I don't think I noticed how ridiculously large and bushy it was until you started putting your fingers through it.
Yeah, it's really disturbing. If you guys aren't watching on YouTube, you guys are really missing out right now. Mm.
So here's the question. What do you think of the beard, Cassidy?
Bo rubbing his beard like this right now, if you're watching on YouTube, is kind of like those Instagram videos of those things that are
like
I love to watch this, like silly putty being pulled or like, ooh, penis swirling.
Yeah.
It's like those
penis
videos.
swirling?
Wait, no, paint swirling.
Oh, it sounded like penis swirling.
I think you actually said penis swirling.
That's what I heard.
Oh.
That's what I heard for sure. But
I need to watch that
I can't wait to figure out what that is.
Wow, I just dropped a subconscious penis bomb.
Yeah.
See, be careful what you think. Now that's going to blow up on YouTube.
Yeah, penis swirling is trending right now.
Clearly, this beard is reminding me of.
I really hope you're not that uncomfortable down there, or that it has a mustache.
I like that masculine guy, grizzly bear.
She likes a big bush. She does. You do, don't you?
My point is that it's like those videos, only it's completely opposite. So it's him rubbing this, I almost like gross beard.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to watch that anymore.
What's gross about it?
I think it's the patches.
There's no patches, dongus.
When you turn sideways, it's the camera. Look, it's not you. It's the camera's exact representation of you. If you face your wife. This is there's a little patch right there in the middle.
It's because I parted it.
Yeah, you're parting it. So
yeah, I'm parting my beard.
Listen, you're also just rubbing it in that you can grow such a magnificent beard.
Why do guys like it when their person scratches their beard for them, and then I have to sit there and scratch the beard?
You don't have to do anything. You like it.
Yeah. Oh, well, even if someone scratches your head, it feels good.
Well, that's nice. That's a different texture of hair.
Because we're just animals. We're just animals that can drive a car. That's it. Yeah. At the end of the day.
Yeah. So we still want you to pet us. We still hate the mailman.
Right. Oh man, it just feels good. But I'm shaving it. I'm celebrating it right now because I'm shaving it.
Are you gonna get to do that cool thing with your babies where you walk out and get to shock them because they finally get to see your face?
Yes.
And
yeah.
They typically say, they're like, Daddy, you're not handsome anymore.
That's what our daughter says.
Says, that is great.
I don't like that.
You're not handsome anymore.
I love it. You're more handsome when half of your face is covered.
Yeah, exactly. I used to do a stand-up joke like that where it's not a compliment oh, you look so much better with a beard. It's you look really good when I can't see your face.
Yeah.
That's people.
Funny.
I like the beard.
I do too. I like it too. It's a bit unkempt, but
pretty gnarly.
I think if you took a weed whacker to it, but it's really impressive as well.
I thought, thank you so much. That really means a lot. It does. I thought you were going to say, are you going to do that weird thing with your kids where you go and shave your beard and then you take the clippings and glue it onto their face so that they can have little baby beards walking around.
Oh, you gotta get I'm still calling them Zach and Bernice on this podcast.
My
That's what I
children,
call
my
your
children.
children to protect their identities, Zach and
Right.
Bernice. Just take and do like a Bert unibrow on your daughter.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna
Just
give yeah, I like that. And then I'm gonna give my son like hella chest hair.
yeah, that would be so awesome.
Yeah, this is a good idea. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, you guys. Now what do we talk about? You guys want to do like a little quick touch in or just if nothing else, tell us what's going on in your lives. What's going on in your life right now?
yeah, I can
How
do a
are you?
great little touch. I'm fabulous this morning. I mean, I had my dream morning because Cassidy did one of her group breath work
Oh, nice.
sessions this morning, and my mother and father did it as well as my partner Emma, and so I had my whole family around me, and it was just beautiful and amazing. I mean, and in a meditative like loving, beautiful experience where we all got high on breath work.
Wow,
And yeah, it was lovely. It was so lovely. So I have zero complaints in my life at this moment.
that's good.
I'll wait till later to have them. So
Yeah,
my touch-in is it's a beautiful day and your wife is amazing and I'm grateful to have both of you in my life. And yeah, life is lovely.
that's cool. That's beautiful. I'm glad
Yeah.
you. That's such a special thing to experience, like with family. Like I've thought about that too, where it's like my nephew is very much into self-care and sort of exploring spiritual and the things of that nature, some of the hippy dippy stuff, and I've just realized how powerful that is to have more than one person in your family that's into that because yeah, then it has more momentum and has the ability to sort of inject into the roots of your family tree is the way I look at it. And so yeah, I think that's really cool for you guys to do that together because there's something special about that energy shared and that connection between family anyways. And so yeah, how
Yeah,
cool.
there's one more just to add one more touch into it is that
Mhm.
there's an added level of closeness you get whenever you get to be in a safe space and be around your family members and be vulnerable
Yes.
together because it's
Yeah.
this wonderful level of not just being that person you want to be in front of each other or especially as a son to a parent saying like
Right.
hey, look at how well I'm doing, or like, being trying to do your best and showing your gratitude for them raising you, etc. Getting to cry around each other, be vulnerable around each other, hear each other talk honestly is a really, really cool experience. And in the moment, I sat and thought, wow, not everybody gets to do this, and
Yeah.
how incredibly lucky. So, anyways,
Yeah.
there we go.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's real stuff, man. That's really special.
It
Dr.
was.
J, thank you so much. Thank you so much for spreading that light in and amongst your family tree. That's, yeah, as you said, so special. And I'm touching into an immense amount of gratitude as well. It feels so good, to gather. It feels really good to gather, and we don't have to do that in person. And we're seeing more and more virtual opportunities to do this. And so, gathering this morning, we had 10 at one point, 11 people in our group. Uh,
For the
that
breath
was
work?
powerful stuff, yeah, for breath work. It was really powerful, and you can see the common threads through it and why we all arrived as we did in the same space in that same moment. So I just feel a lot of gratitude and definitely gratitude to you too, honey, because we were talking about this week. We are human beings too, and we experience a human version of reality, aka our egos get lit up sometimes. And so, yeah, we ride those waves whenever emotions come up, and then we reground, and it's like instantaneous sometimes and takes more work other times. And so we've had many moments this week of just like hugging each other and snapping back into loving peace and kindness and compassion. And I'm just grateful to be a part of that, like in our marriage and with you and our kids too. This week, we have 2 2-year-olds. They're pretty crazy sometimes. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
And I think, I was probably raising my voice and like, no more craziness, sit down, read the book, we're taking a nap. And Elise, our daughter, turned to me and she says, Mommy, this is not who you are. And she's 2. And she's 2. And she got that from Moana, I believe. But the things that they pick up, and she placed that perfectly. And immediately it was, okay, so what was my response to that? My response to that was, you're right. I'm so sorry, honey. This is not who I am. Mommy gets frustrated too. Did we talk about this? I feel like we talked about this last time. I don't know.
Yeah, we did. We did a little
did
bit.
we?
Yeah.
I'm still shocked by it.
Yeah.
Still shocked.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, whenever she said, "This is not who you are," and Bo had posted too. Your daughter is ridiculous, and
She is.
she
She
said,
told
"Thanks
me.
for ruining my day off." Is the funniest thing I've never
I
even
wasn't
said
even
that.
doing anything.
What full time? Oh, I'm sorry. This is your one day off. You a greeter at Walmart?
Yeah. I was like, day off from what? Potty training? Oh man, I was gonna just slip on and friggin' Trolls pull up and enjoy my dung.
Look, I spend 6 days I spend 6 days out of 7 as a construction foreman, helping out Bob the Builder. And this is my one day to sit and relax, and you ruined it.
This is my day off. I was like, what did you say? And then she repeated it, and I was like, okay. Like I had no idea. I was like, and it didn't occur to me till later, like, oh, this must be from something. It's from, they call it Barbie at the Beach, but it's like some Netflix show where it's like Barbie's dream house. And
Oh
yeah,
my god.
I could talk for an hour about that show.
In other news, Jack did not have a day off today. He went to the park with Bo during that breathwork session with Elise, and then Jack healed a bug.
Yeah. I think we've talked before about how, I don't know, look, he's been talking a lot about healing. Like, look, we talk about healing. So it's not like, where to get that from?
Yeah.
But like, we've talked, he's very intuitive and empathic. And like, he's, just to recap things that we've said before, like when he was really little, like less than a year, he would just start pointing at the front door, and then like 2 minutes later, 5 minutes later, someone would knock at the door, stuff like that. He's got a lot of stuff like that. And he just relates to this stuff. And today, like, they found a bug and they were like poking around at this bug and it was dead. And he loves animals, loves all that stuff, and he's like, oh, it's dead. And then I walked away, and so did Elise. And then he came back. He's like, Daddy. He ran over. He's like, Daddy, I'm healed that bug. I was like, you what? I'm healed it. And I was like, I gotta check this out because maybe I don't know. And then we walked over there, and where that bug was, it was not there anymore. Now look, he could have ate it. Yeah. I don't know.
That's pretty random.
He would have
said, I ate the bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have had a bug eating grin on his face. And
yeah.
I'm ate it.
Yeah, he's an honest kid too.
Yeah. If anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was weird. I don't know. He probably didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just that.
I don't think that's a probably.
Look,
I think if you can bring anything back to life, it's a bug. Because you got to start small. He's not bringing, He's
I
not
don't know.
bringing Grandpa back or anything, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
could bring
Okay.
a roly-poly.
Yeah, maybe.
He might be able to
Maybe,
give
I
a
don't know.
possum mouth to mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that happened today. Um, me, what am I touching into? And just as a reminder, guys, is we encourage you guys to touch in at some point during your day. Pause the show, do it right now. Put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath in, and just see what's coming up for you. See how you're feeling. For me, I'm really touching into just excitement. Really, I've been doing the Wim Hof method, which we'll do a show about it. Um, but Wim Hof method, he's just a real quick elevator pitch on the Wim Hof method. Is he's known as the Iceman. They've studied him. He's conditioned his body, as he says, to bring it back to its natural state, which is to say, without all these encumbrances and all this training, this untraining that we've done throughout generations to make ourselves softer and weaker. And he's making himself, he's the Iceman. So he will just go and sit in Arctic waters. He'll do it for like 2 hours and just be in it. And they've done studies on him, and it's like, oh, he's getting stronger and healthier. Like they've done all these tests, like studies where they injected, let's call it 10 people with, they exposed them to a virus,
Oh, wow.
and then they took another group and exposed those 10 people to a virus. 80 and the 10 people, the first group, they were doing the Wim Hof method, which again is breathing. It's similar to the breath work that Cassidy does, but it doesn't talk about emotions really. It talks about dealing with stress and how the breath is linked to that, but it's just different. It's really focused on like physiology, I would say, more than anything, and reconditioning the body. But anyway, so the first group of 10, they were exposed. These are Wim Hof people. The other group exposed, not Wim Hof people. The non-Wim Hofers, they 80% of them got the virus. The Wim Hof group, 80% did not get the virus. Yeah, so and they've studied him, and it's like he suppresses the immune system, which sounds like a bad thing, but apparently it's a really good thing. Anyways, it's gnarly.
Interesting.
I've started doing his program, and one reason why I want to mention it to you guys is because right now, because of the COVID-19, they're doing 50% off of his classes, at least the fundamentals course, which is a 10-week course. It's usually like 300 something or $300 or something like that. And now
on that one, you're just learning to like sit in a cooler for 10 minutes.
That's right. Yeah.
You work up to the 2 hours in Antarctica.
It really is baby steps from what I've
It is. Yeah, they baby step you into it. Like it's like the breathing is is pretty gnarly. And some stuff happens. What?
I just had an image.
No.
What if the first step, okay, so before you take your 2-hour Arctic plunge, your first step is you go to the refrigerator and you get your ice cube, and not one of those square ones, one of those like kind of like a long cylinder half circle ones, and you shove it up your butthole.
Oh my god!
What's wrong with you?
Only for 2 minutes.
That means you got to get it back out. That's a different.
Control your breath so you don't melt it.
That's a different training course to get the ice cube out of your butt. Like that's how they get you. is that you can't do the whole course without taking this separate class on getting ice out of your ass.
Who kind of wants to try it? Let me
Ew.
know. Let me know.
Jesus, man.
Oh my god. I see. I love this is what I love about when we do our crazy hippy dippy stuff because whenever you get really into something, especially like this when it's life changing, you have to try and figure out how to explain it to other people. And so the little things that we pick and choose sometimes make it seem so much worse. Bo, I am so interested in this thing, but all I can get out of your description of this amazing program is that this man sits in ice for 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, it's nuts, dude. It's nuts. And then my wife's mind goes to ice.
Ice butt. You choose.
Hey guys, this is the Hippie Dippy Show. I nominate Cassidy for the Ice Butt Challenge.
And let me tell you this, my hemorrhoids have really gone down.
Oh my god.
God.
I'm excited
Why
to
is
hear about Wim Hof and like how you got into it and everything. Whenever
Yeah.
we get a chance to go
We'll
into
do
that
a whole
because
thing on it.
because
Yeah.
yeah, because I think it's gonna be really cool. When you say the Iceman, I just think there's an MMA fighter who used to always come into
Yeah.
our.
Chuck Liddell. Heck yeah.
Yeah, he was a regular of mine when I was a waiter, and yeah, he's a fabulous human. He's the biggest sweetheart you've ever met in your entire life. And he's
Really? Chuck
wonderful.
Liddell?
Yeah, and his two little kids, they love me. They're like, they come in. I left for a while and went on tour, and then I came back to the restaurant, and he's like, "My kids missed you," and I was like,
That's
"You're the
awesome.
scariest man in the whole world, and I love you."
You know you're a scary guy when even your haircut is scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you just had like a spear for hair.
Yeah, and he probably doesn't get haircuts. It just grows that way.
Yeah,
There's
for
no
sure.
way that that's cut. That's just he was born looking like some sort of an anime fighter.
Yeah, yeah. He's badass.
But
That's
yeah,
so
he's a
Um,
cool.
sweetheart in real life.
that's so
Absolute
cool.
softy sweetheart.
Oh man. So go to Wim Hof's website and take advantage of that. Challenge yourself. It's really done wonders for me. I do it every single day, and it is trippy. Some of the psychedelic experiences that I'm having, basically,
Yeah.
and just I feel better. My mood is better. It reduces stress, and it is very good for your health. It's been proven. So yeah, I highly recommend it, and it's 50% off. I think I got it like it's a 10-week course for $130. Like that's good stuff,
Awesome.
man. Bless them for doing that. That's such a cool thing for them to do during this time.
Last question about it. How do you spell it?
Wimhof is his name.
Got it.
Wim Hof, and he's hilarious. Like Cassidy heard me yesterday. I was just like, because you watch his videos, they're really fun, easy videos. Um, and he's just like he's either Dutch or I don't know. He's from where it's very cold, so he didn't have much of a choice in this life, I guess. Like he had to get,
He's like, it's the Wim Hof method. Live here. You'll
right?
be stuck in the cold for 2 hours.
Yeah,
You can get a little glimpse into his method and his teachings and a little bit about his life story, which is quite actually sad and
mm,
beautiful
mm.
on the Goop Labs
Oh,
on Netflix, right? With Gwyneth Paltrow. Is that her
yes.
company?
Uh,
Freaking awesome show.
Dude, you got to watch that series. That whole series is amazing.
really?
Yeah, I never would have guessed. Like, because all you hear is like, oh, Gwyneth Paltrow made a vagina candle.
Yeah.
Um,
What?
yeah, she made a candle that scented like her vagina.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the weird thing. Not sticking an ice cube up your
I've
butt.
got one. What?
I
Is that the
said,
candle that I always use in the kitchen?
Yeah, yeah,
No.
wait,
yeah,
what?
No,
yeah. I
just
bought
kidding.
one. Yeah.
No. I was saying, she was like, no, no way. I was like, yeah, that's the weird thing, Cassidy, not sticking an ice cube up your butt.
Right. but it's a great, yeah. So you hear all these weird things about the goop and blah blah blah, but and Gwyneth Paltrow, it's her website and all that stuff, and they've turned it into a Netflix series, and it's radical. And Wim Hof, they do one on Wim Hof, and
All
it's
right.
radical. It's so cool, and it helps your athletic performance and recovery and stuff like that too. It's just everything, dude.
Cool.
And yeah, so I've had some trippy experiences, and it's great.
You know what helps your athletic performance?
Here we go.
Your diet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was really.
There you go, you guys. I did that.
That was. I think Bo holds his breath sometimes.
Yeah. I'm like, this is gonna be gross. She's gonna make a horrible comment. No, that was great. Yes, that's a good transition. We want to talk about diet today. What you eating?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Because you guys wanted to talk about that. I mean, I want to too. But what caused you guys to talk about this today?
Well, Jeffrey J, I think you sort of inspired this whole diet conversation when you posted that really beautiful post.
Oh yeah, on our Instagram. Yeah, I posted something on Instagram because well also too because I have such an interesting diet conversation with you guys in particular. Because there's so much talk about like eating vegan or vegetarian for whatever humane reasons and why do you eat in a certain way, especially when you start getting into this stuff and you think about people who are empaths, people who are, eat when they say whatever eating compassionately means in this
Mm,
world of farming everything in ways that use factories, etc. Meat
right.
to vegetables to everything that we do has something that's not
Yeah.
compassionate in it. So it's a
Right.
huge conversation. And then there's what works with your body, which is
Right.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, and all three of us, I feel like, have three very different ideas of what drew us to eat the way that we eat, even between the two of you.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I wanted to talk about it. Also, it's so easy to make fun of Bo's diet and how
It is.
ridiculous it is, and that it doesn't make any sense, yet I've seen it just being one of Bo's best friends. I've seen how it works for him
Yeah.
so beautifully, and how he'll just be like, oh, what am I doing for exercise? Nothing. I'm just eating only steak and egg yolks, and I have abs. I just have abs. You do not. There was a point in your life you were getting so sick, and you were a little flabby, and for flabby for Bo isn't super flabby, but you weren't happy.
Yeah. It's true.
I love
Then
it. I love it.
then he was like, oh, I went back to Dr. Kim, his doctor at the time. I use doctor as an imaginary term. He is a Chinese medicine person. I'll let you tell your own story, but let me give you mine from the frou-frou side
I
of like
like this. I like this.
hearing it. So then Bo said, yeah, I'm only supposed to eat red meat, and I may be wrong about this, but let me tell you what I heard in my head.
Yeah, please.
Red meat, egg yolks, cheese, and no leafy greens, which would physically kill me.
Yeah.
If I couldn't touch leafy greens and had to only eat those things, I would
Cool.
be I would be a depressed blob.
Yeah, and your cholesterol would spike through the roof, and your blood pressure, and your poor heart, and your butthole, because you'd
Yeah,
be
you
constipated.
just yeah, you'd
The
have to
ox is for.
yeah, all those things. And then all of a sudden, Bo starts eating this way. I see him. He looks healthier than he's ever looked in his life. He didn't get sick for months, and he was getting sick nonstop. Like his body was healthy. He like took off his shirt one time, and he just had abs, like just all of us, like all of a sudden abs. And he like everything was going great in his life. And I was asking him what he was doing to work out. Zero. He was doing zero at that time. He's like, I used to do, some stuff in my life, but not right now. Just abs. And so I watched this thing happen, and I just don't feel like you can deny that as much as I want to.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right in terms of like it's knowing your body and listening to your body and for most of us, I certainly had no clue what was right for my body because I just listened to whatever was popular at the time and what because of what was popular and because of what was being preached like and it just sort of locks in to making sense. It's like when I wanted to eat healthy when I was like in my like mid to late 20s, I'd be like, all right, time to get healthy. I'm gonna eat chicken breast and I'm gonna cook it with some delicious onions, a bunch of garlic and blah. That's good for you. That's good for your immune system, right? Garlic, and then I'm gonna eat. What else would I eat, man? Like and like a salad and blah blah blah. All this stuff, right? All this stuff that they like. This
Yeah.
is good for you. This is how you lose
Egg
weight.
whites.
Egg whites. There you go.
Yeah.
And I would just get like rampant diarrhea, and I'd be like, there you go. Look, perfect. I'm clearing it out. I'm clearing out all the toxins through this
Yeah.
horrible fiery diarrhea. Um, and then I would get sick, get like sinus infection and all that stuff. Eventually, I'd be like, yeah, this is what
This
happens
is
when you
detoxifying on just
toxin it.
you have
Yeah,
to get all the goop out of you. That's what
right.
goop means.
The goop.
Exactly.
Ew.
And then I went to this dude, Dr. Kim, shout out. Love him so much.
Well, how did you find out about him? How did you even know?
Because somebody that worked for my company, they had essentially irritable bowel syndrome to the point where they could not come to work anymore. They couldn't.
Crystal Tucker.
Oh my god, I thought
Kidding.
you.
I don't even, that's not the first.
No, but that's oddly close to her actual name.
No.
Swear to God. Cassidy's never even heard of this person. That's close to her name.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Well, you should have went with it.
no.
No, I loved it because you could tell you were close to it because Bo's
Yeah, I was
face.
like, don't
the-
out her as having a leaky butt.
You guys, I've been drinking cacao every day for like 3 months. I'm like, shh, shh, shh.
She knows where the leaky butts are. She can sense them. I sense that your butt does something that looks like my cacao.
You got diarrhea. You got.
She's the Oprah of buttholes.
A lot of butthole talk.
Yep. So Crystal Tucker had a leaky butthole, and she went to go see Dr. Kim, and she had been to every doctor, every specialist you can imagine. Like at some point, they're like, "Oh, does she have like, cancer of her bowels or like whatever?" And like all this stuff, and they tried all these different things. Nothing worked. Nothing worked at all. She goes to this acupuncturist, Dr. Kim, who he's in Beverly Hills and Valencia. Check him out, Dr. Min Kim. He's very difficult to find on the internet. And he did acupuncture on her after doing some testing quotes because the testing is like he just feels your wrist for your pulse and then asks you questions. And I'm not going to do what everybody on this podcast thinks I'm going to do and do his accent. I'm not doing it, guys. I did his accent
Yeah.
in front of 300 mostly Asian people at a Joe Coy show in San Jose, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, because when you do a doctor in Beverly Hills, as you'd imagine, he's a surfer. He's like, yo, bro.
Yeah, no, Dr. Kim is straight from Korea and is wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And so he just like listens to your pulse and he's like, and he'll ask you some questions. He'll be like weird stuff too. He's like, and they're mostly statements. And he'll just be like, your father is nice to people that he does not know, but mean to family. And I was like, yep, that's my dad.
He told me your father is a very, very skinny man.
Yeah, very true.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a very, very skinny man.
Yeah.
Oh, I had like a 50% chance of that being right.
I mean, yeah.
Ah, he's huge. He's skinny inside.
And so through all this, he figures out what's good for you, what's not. And it's called constitutional acupuncture is what he does.
Yeah.
So there's 8 different constitutions within the human species. This was also part of, oh my God, what's his name? Hippocrates, the father, known as the father of modern medicine, ancient Greece. And Western medicine takes like everything from him except for this idea of constitutions.
Yeah.
What do you got, Josh?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Did he do strength testing with
He
you
did.
too?
Our kid just fell out of his toddler bed. Okay, you guys continue.
Man.
You're good. All right.
That was bad.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, you could hear it. It was a giant thumping. Yeah, we just started the toddler bed with our son.
Oh man, is your daughter in the toddler bed yet?
Huh?
Is your daughter in
No,
the
she's
toddler?
yeah. They didn't have the part yet. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a good question because it's kind of weird. It's like no, not till she's 16.
She's a chick. She's not ready yet.
Yeah, she's not.
Their
she's
brains
not
develop
responsible.
differently. Why do you think they don't have jobs?
So yeah, so he does the strength testing, which a lot of different sort of like a lot of chiropractors do this and things like that, where you'll hold something in one hand, and then in the other hand they'll try to break your fingers apart
With like 2 fingers, right?
Yeah, they take their like 2 index fingers and try to break apart your index finger and your middle finger, which from your thumb, which is you formed a circle with it.
Yeah.
And then you'll hold like he'll give you like a plastic bag of like garbanzo beans.
Yeah.
And like,
Let me see if
and then he'll try to rip your fingers apart.
Yeah.
And so the idea is if this is something that's beneficial for your body, then he will not be able to as easily pull your fingers apart. What are you doing?
Yeah, I used to do it. It's like
yourself?
when you can do it to yourself, which is awesome.
Really?
Yeah, and I learned this because I was telling somebody about it. I was at a beach house, like with my family had a gathering, and I had that one family member, my cousin Luke, who's lovely and into all the hippie dippy stuff. So I told him about it. We're in a beach house for 20 people, which means we have tons of different food in this house. And we were up till like 1 in the after everyone went to bed, 1 or 2 in the morning, just grabbing different things out of the cupboards and putting it in each other's hands and then strength testing each other and going like, no way, what? And one thing that came up for me, and I'm super curious if this is real, but I found that I can eat like a whole loaf of white bread and nothing's ever like I'm fine. It's the one thing that everyone knows is bad for you. And so I strength tested with it many, many times because it just was unbelievable to me. White bread, I was strong as an ox.
That's the thing. Why? Like you're saying, like it's not nutritious. What is it that works for you? It's like whatever, that's
I
so
don't know.
crazy.
But M&Ms, I
truth,
just did it. They're apparently bad for me.
what are?
The M&Ms, because I just did it. Because I'll
really?
take my fingers, I'll
Yeah.
take this hand and do this, and this one, and pull as hard as I can, and nothing.
With the M&Ms.
But if I have the M&Ms in my hand, even though this should
Oh.
be the weaker hand, it immediately...
That's crazy.
You can't... Even if I'm trying as hard as I can, my fingers are weaker.
That's nuts, man. And so that's part of his testing. And it is, look, it's obviously not an exact science what he's doing,
Yeah.
but I think he has I mean, he's got a gift for it, for being able to listen to your pulse the way that I don't know what the hell he hears when he or feels when he listens to your pulse, but he's incredibly adept at doing that, and he's very special, and so yeah, he figured out my constitution, and the constitution kind of basically what it means is like there's certain organs that each of us have. Um, and my theory is that it's based on where you're from and what food is natural for your lineage and where what food was natural for the place where your genealogy, your bloodline started is basically or what I believe, based off of his um, methodology and practice. And so for me, it's all as you said, it's red meat, root vegetables for the most part, berries, and mushrooms, like no leafy green, no fish, no, as Dr. Kim says, nothing with wings. Um, and he also said, I was so bummed at the time because he's like, yeah, no fish. I was like, Dr. Kim, I love sushi, man. I don't feel good when I eat it, but I love sushi. Give me some fish. What fish can I eat? He said, you can have it's really hard for me not to do the accent. You can have you can have shark. Like, okay, great, nobody serves that anymore because of shark fin soup. Thanks a lot. Shark is delicious. I call it the steak of the ocean. It's so delicious. um, I could have eel, which I don't like the taste of. Or and then he said, and this would shake anybody's confidence in him as a doctor. Um, he said, "What is the biggest fish?" I was like he couldn't think of it. I was like, a, a whale?
Whale?
Yes, yes, you can have a whale. I was like, okay, well, guess what, Doctor Kim? That's not on the menu. You know, like that's not really an
He's
option.
like, oh,
Well,
and
if I ever get a chance to eat a whale, I
yeah,
will do
and also, if as far as things with wings, you can also eat the dodo bird. You can,
it. Exactly.
he's like giving you everything that's out of the question.
Have you tried pterodactyl? Um, so yeah, it's weird, but all of that, I feel very healthy. I don't get sick when I eat according to the diet, and yeah, it works for me, man.
See, that's so interesting. What I do think you say, you think that our diets are based on where we're from. I
Yes,
have a separate theory, and this is gonna sound funny and like I'm being funny. I Yes, there are funny parts, but I really believe this because I was telling Emma, I believe that our diets are based on what if we didn't have modern life, what they think, like what the universe thinks that we could actually catch or eat or manage. Because my body only likes leafy greens, nuts, and seeds. I think the universe is like I can eat. I think it was like, you know what? You're a farmer. You're
that's.
not killing anything.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the universe thinks you're a wood nymph.
Yeah, it thinks I'm a wuss, and it knows that I'm too empathic to kill anything. So I think it knows like, you're not meant to eat meat because you couldn't. You're such a pussy. You you're a nuts and seeds and kale salad kind of person.
That's so funny. Well, you are built like a Keebler elf.
Yeah,
Like, and yeah, so anything you could find in and around a tree,
yeah.
that's what you are able to eat.
That's why it lets me eat things that like I can forage for, 'cause it
Right,
knows I could get up to that tree, but I
right.
couldn't outrun a lion. Or even kill a cow. I would be like, you go on your way.
That's so great. Yeah.
So,
Well, and something cool too that I was talking about with my buddy Chip. That's 4 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Chip, um, he eats like there's a lot of talk about people eating seasonally, which
Mm.
I'm into. I like this idea. I think we've talked about it on one other show where it's like, oh, you go and you want to buy a watermelon. There's a watermelon because of the roided out fertilizer that farmers use to stay competitive. We've got watermelons. They're giant abominations of nature, and they're not. And it's
And they don't taste good. They're they're
no, they're
bland off season.
gross. Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
pale.
Try
And
anywhere outside of like Southeast Asia. Eat a honeydew melon. The grossest thing you've ever had. But I went to Thailand, and I've got to assume that it's natural to that climate because I ate it there and I was like, oh my God, this is why it's called the most delicious name of any fruit is the honeydew melon. The grossest taste of any fruit is the honeydew melon.
Yeah.
Here.
no.
Yeah, it tastes like nothing here.
It doesn't belong here, and we're not supposed to be eating it here, really. And so there's that. There's seasonal eating, but then kind of in line with what I'm saying about the honeydew melon, my buddy Chip has started eating. He lives up in the Pacific Northwest, and he eats seasonally and what is grown naturally in the area he lives in.
And does he not slaughter his own meats and
He
things?
used to be into that sort of thing. He used to eat.
Don't say into that when you're talking about murder of elf
Yeah.
creatures.
was
Just,
into it.
I would say he used to do that, or not practice either. Practice sounds like
He's a
Yeah.
practicing murderer. No, part of his self-care was slaughtering lambs.
No, he was just honoring his body and the food that he was consuming.
Right.
And he was
Yeah, Chip sounds a lot like our friend Michael, who does a lot of Reiki, and he taught my mother how to do kombucha. Let me say this, by the way, real quick, since I've now brought up my mother twice on this episode. My mother called me yesterday and was like, by the way, I'm going to start a drinking game where I drink every time you bring up me. And I was like,
she's so cool.
yeah, she's
Those moms
amazing.
suck.
And I'm gonna say, yeah, go ahead, do it, Mom. We're gonna get you drunk. But anywho, this guy Michael, he had a girlfriend that he pissed off so horribly that she like murdered a chicken and like put it on a cross or something. I might be butchering the story, but it is very similar to this. And put it on a cross and stuck it in his lawn because she was so
I think
pissed
that's
at him.
racist.
Yeah,
I don't think you're allowed to do that on so many levels.
I know. But this is how pissed off he was, and he was like, and I was like, he said, that was the best chicken I ever. I cooked it and I ate it.
God.
He was like one of those people where he took this negative energy from his ex-girlfriend, which I don't know the whole story. I don't even remember. I just remember that he made a woman so crazy that she put a chicken in his lawn, and he took that chicken and made a soup out of it.
That's amazing. I wanted it. That guy's special.
I wonder if he's like my Michael. My Michael.
Excuse me?
Michael Smith. No,
Oh.
my friend Michael Smith that I was introduced to is also Reiki and very powerful, beautiful being, human.
Yeah. Shaman.
Yeah.
Michael Smith is shaman.
He's the one who taught me I can't drink too much kombucha because he blew a .01 because of kombucha, because of the alcohol content on kombucha.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, because he was drinking so much, he was getting a buzz.
Sober hack.
Sober hack. Also, Listerine gets you fucked.
I love you, Jeff. You're so funny.
Today I had a kind of like a tweaky moment that reminded me of my years on ecstasy. Yeah.
Jesus, it was years on ecstasy. Did you
not
take a
every
break?
single day, but I was like, woo. Yeah. Anyway, so in those years and those times, today I've been drinking so much cacao, I just felt like way activated, and especially after that breath work, I was like, God, do we have any gum?
Yeah.
I'd love to have gum right
Oh,
now.
is that why you wanted gum?
Yeah.
Yeah, ooh, I just want to chew on it.
We just rub my shoulders real quick, baby.
Oh my God, I drank so much cacao. Why do my fingers feel like a million penises?
Hey, hey, Zach and Bernice, you want to listen to some Dead Mouse? My partner came over. I love you, Emma. Uh,
Oh,
so
yeah, guest
funny.
appearance in the background.
We do have to start wrapping up, but Cassidy, do you have any thoughts on how you eat? And I'll bring this up because I had asked you after you came back from Bali, I believe was where you were coming back from, or Guatemala. I can't remember which one it was. But you came back and I said, "Well, are you like vegan or vegetarian now? Is that part of what you learned at your yoga retreat type thing?" And your answer was so fascinating and wonderful and perfect, and I loved it. So I would love for you to talk about that for a second if you got time.
Yeah, totally. So that was in 2018. 2018, I returned from Bali, and previous to that trip, I took on vegetarianism maybe for like 2 months before, and I, was reading the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and basically, you're supposed to, as part of this spiritual practice nonviolence. And so nonviolence to animals, to people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I took that on. And that was quite a challenge, right? So then I got hit with that ethical question of, well, if I'm a vegetarian, is it okay for me to cook steaks for this guy and pork tenderloins and beef roast? And I mean, just the meat goes on and on and on. It's stocked up in the fridge. And let me tell you, our groceries are quite expensive. Um, anyways, so I thought, you know what? It's okay because I'm honoring him and this is what he practices and I can practice my own thing. And this is the point of yoga too, is union and non-judgment. And who am I, to deem that incorrect for him or for the universe? So that was that. And then I went and in the first couple of weeks, I became really, really sick. I don't know what happened. Maybe I was just purging. Maybe I had a little parasite situation. I'm not really sure. I was drinking the water, and supposedly you weren't supposed to be doing that in the part of Bali that I was at. And I was brushing my teeth in that water every single day and having me a good old time. So, so I was researching, so much because I was really, really sick, and I saw that, my thought was, I must have a parasite. What do I do? I need to stop eating so many carbs. If you have a parasite, they like thrive off of carbs.
Sugar.
So I was eating
Yeah.
right, sugar, and I was eating so much fruit and just vegetables and rice, and so I had to start ordering, and I felt really guilty, especially being in that setting. I had to start ordering some other protein alternatives like uh, chicken. I was ordering chicken, and then I felt like pathetic. Like, how come I can't keep up with the group and keep up with the studies? And maybe yoga's not supposed to be for me. So I'm actually like very, very proud of that experience, and it was huge because it really loosened my rigidity. It loosened it up. Why do I have to be so rigid around a concept? Why do I was realizing I was interpreting a specific I was interpreting a concept. A concept is a loose term, a loose idea, and I was interpreting it and perceiving it to be strict in one aspect of it, and that is I will not kill animals. Well, now you're sitting in the jungle, and of Bali in Indonesia, and you're sitting in and amongst all of these beautiful trees. God knows how old they are, and plants and superfoods. Right? They have tons of superfood and fruits out there, and the bamboo trees. The bamboo trees. This is what I was mostly inspired by too. Is like they grow to be hollow in the center, and so that they can survive hurricanes and whatnot. And then and then in one morning meditation, I was sitting there and I was seeing all these things around me and still tapping into that realization. And then I thought, wait a second, this is just what I'm seeing up here. What about everything that's down below me? What about, the worms in the dirt and the bugs and the grubs and the root vegetables and the deceased plants, right? And the deceased animals and everything that's going on down there, volcanic rock and lava and all kinds of things, right? And so I thought, how dare I? Mother Nature and the plant kingdom, I mean, is absolutely incredible. And pretty much the reason why we're here, right? Because plants give off the oxygen that we breathe. And I don't know. I'm not, a specialist on our ecosystem or how we survive as a planet and Earth and whatever. I could kind of give you the rain cycle in a gist. I learned that in school. But
need your mic, Jeff.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Sometimes when I laugh over it, though, we lose some of your points, and
Sorry.
so every once in a while I'll take and flip it up.
That's okay. But
well, so the point, like they're alive, just
they're
like
alive. Plants are alive too.
just like these animals are alive, and just because it doesn't have a heartbeat.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So don't eat anything.
Yeah. My main point is that there's no hierarchy of life.
Right.
And to think that there is, in my opinion, is just perpetuating the problem, because you continue to think that something is above something is above something is above something. And who's to say that those plants don't also experience sensation if that's what you are mainly concerned about? Like, again, these are just my opinions and thoughts to ponder. They've done research on. You were telling me, right, about that one study in Japan about the people that talk to the water, the scientists that talk to water.
Oh yeah, what the bleep do we know?
Fantastic. Yeah, it's documented in that documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know, which is it's incredible about quantum physics, and it really, it's trippy. It's got some God conversation in that in there too, and talks about kind of the God particle, like things that they can't figure out with science, and can't explain it with what we do know about science and matter and those things. And so anyway, so they did this very famous study in Japan where they took 2 jars of water, right? And I might be oversimplifying this, but they put each jar in separate rooms, and every day they would go into the first room and they would say loving, beautiful affirmations and shout to this jar of water, right? And then they would go into the next room and they would just berate.
Yeah, you're not water, you're piss.
Yes,
You're the worst water I've ever seen. You're the reason your dad left.
And to be honest, that jar of water deserved it. It was asking for it,
And that water, it died afterwards.
Oh, it did, yeah. It did.
No, but what happened?
It shot up its old work.
No, but what happened to the water?
They got drank. That's it. They just drank them afterwards, and one tasted good.
Yeah. No, they looked at the molecules of each of the jars of water, and they were significantly different in their makeup, in the way that they appeared, proving that words and feelings and energy has power over the physical form.
Right.
And this is one of the reasons why it's so important what your narrative is. What do you say about yourself? What do you think about yourself? Mm-hmm. And people say like, oh, be careful what you say. Be careful what you think. And again, bringing it back full circle to what Jeff said to start it out, like, be careful what you think about, because it really has an impact. And so, this is something that I believe Dr. Wayne Dyer used to talk about. Somebody wonderful to check out is Dr. Wayne Dyer,
Yeah.
for some positive motivation in your life, and some empowerment. And he always said that the two most important words in the English language are "I am," and actually more accurate is whatever word comes after that. I am what?
Yeah.
Like, and watch yourself, be the seer, and make yourself mindful of what you are saying about yourself, even like little things like, oh, I'm so stupid, like, oh,
Mhm.
don't say that, like that, no,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Remember we talked about this, Jeffrey J, even like in AA and Alcoholics Anonymous, and you really, right, don't they encourage you or tell you that you need to say I am an alcoholic,
Mhm. And
whatever.
there's and I hesitate to always like say, to say anything against that because I know it does a lot of good for a lot of people. But for
Yes.
me,
Sure.
words are so incredibly powerful that calling myself flawed is just not something that works for me to say
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
that I am a flawed individual or that I'm, you know,
Mm-hmm.
constitutionally
Yes.
different than other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but and I will say like, one way to think about the I am situation is would you ever say it to another person? And if you wouldn't, then definitely don't say it to yourself. Don't say, I'm so fat. I'm so this, or like, I'm so stupid. Because would
Yeah.
you ever, well, I guess lots of people would. I would never say, you are so stupid to a
Yeah.
person. And if you wouldn't go up to someone and say that, then don't say it about yourself.
Totally. And having kids has really brought that home for me.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think about too, is like, would you say what you're saying about yourself or to yourself, would you say that to a child? Because part of what you're doing is you're communicating to yourself. And I feel like, for whatever reason, it feels like you're talking to your inner child,
Yes.
and just be kind to yourself, and so watch what you say, and look, if you do think, well, but I am so stupid sometimes, okay, well then, if you feel like another way to say it is like, sometimes I do things that are not mindful or that are not
Yeah.
intelligent, whatever, and then work to correct that,
Or
but
change it to
don't tell
kid.
yourself that story.
Yeah, or change it to kid language. You started changing everything to kid language and it softens everything. So
Mm.
like when uh when I used to say God it's so stupid, I'm like I'm such a silly goose. And when I say that, it does a couple things. One, it completely lightens the situation for me and it takes away why do I say these things out loud? Um Yeah, that's a real thing that I do. Like, it's such a silly goose. And then it's like wrecking the car wasn't so bad. You
Yeah.
know, you can make yourself laugh about it. And while we have to wrap up and everything, I just wanted to make one final point, and that I think you got to, Cassidy, which is awesome to wrap up the diet thing. And Bo, is that words having power, whatever your diet is, if you have gratitude towards your food and thank it, I
Yes.
think that does a lot. And no matter what your diet is, if you just express your gratitude for having that food, I think that can go a long way.
Yes.
What happened?
We
Who'd
got we got kids in burritos,
Burrito kids.
which means a blanket wrapped with
Yes.
an onion in it. You know. Anyways.
I was wondering because you had a shocked face.
Well, he was holding her in one hand, and I was like, "Is that safe?" I mean, we just had one fall out of a bed. Come on now. We are good parents.
Cats carry them by the scruff of their necks. Y'all are doing fine.
But yes, Jeffrey J, yes. Consuming with gratitude for that energy, however you consume and whatever you consume, and being mindful about where it's sourced from and how it's raised. And yeah.
And if you can't right now because you're struggling, that's okay too. Just be grateful to have it. You know, if you're reduced to SpaghettiOs right now, like, we have been in several times in our life, just be grateful and know, you're gonna get there with the food. Don't beat yourself up either for not being able to eat healthier right now if you just can't financially. Oh no, I see a
Silly.
friend. I see a silly goose.
Ooh,
Hi.
redhead.
Look at that. She looks like a little elf with that beautiful hair.
She's Princess Poppy.
Princess
Oh.
Poppy. um, well, that'll be us for today. Do you want to
Yeah.
try for a moment of gratitude?
Yeah, Jeffrey J, do you feel called to lead us in a moment of gratitude? I'm wondering.
Oh my goodness. Um, sure. Yeah, I would love to. Um, I would like all of our friends who are listening to us today to take a deep breath. If you feel called to it, then close your eyes. If you're driving, then just listen alongside with us. Take a moment to let go of all of the things that you have going on in your life and just realize how nice it is to breathe. I want you to take a moment and also think about one thing, just one little baby thing that you're grateful for. Maybe someone in your life who made you laugh. Maybe something surprised you. Maybe you found a new Netflix show that made you giggle. It doesn't even matter what it is. Maybe you found an extra can of SpaghettiOs. Just think about one thing that made you laugh today, and just say thank you to that one thing. Say thank you for giving me that small moment of joy. And if something bothers you later today, feel free to experience it and try to remember that one little thing and come back to it and re-experience that joy. And when you're ready, take another deep breath. Thank you for joining us. This was lovely. Your daughter's face. I'm grateful for that face.
What are you grateful for?
Susie, what are you grateful for?
Are you happy you're up from your nap?
She's the best guest we've had on the podcast so far.
I love it because she doesn't talk over us like some of the other guests we've had.
Oh.
She is
Thank you
real.
guys so much for watching and listening and subscribing and liking and commenting and sharing the show. That's how we keep it going, and it really means a lot to us. We just want to, you know, make as many friends as possible through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you guys. We love you.
Love you.
We're on Instagram at Hippie Dippy Show and Hippie Dippy Show at gmail.com.
Love
Thanks,
you, Jeffrey
guys.
J. Thank you.
Love y'all too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.